Aloha y'all, and welcome back to my channel. And as always, here we have yet another flippin' anti-haul because the releases, they just don't stop coming. They keep coming. We're gonna be drowning. There's a lot of makeup being released in the end here of 2019, and I do not foresee it getting any better come 2020. So I have got a myriad of releases that I'm going to be anti-hauling and basically roasting because y'all, we have got a lot of duds, a lot of live ones that have been happening recently. Basically Colourpop, who don't seem to understand that releasing everything all at once isn't necessarily the best idea. So let's just go on in. I got my cute little list here and let's just start talking about these products. First things first, I think probably 3 or 4 anti-hauls ago I anti-hauled the Lady Gaga makeup brand. I anti-hauled that whole thing, Amazon, everything, just nah. And then I saw that they're starting to release eyeshadow palettes, and I'm like, okay, all right. I mean, I ain't gonna buy it anyway, but let me see what it looked like. And y'all, for a brand whose first products were kind of a little bit on the boring, underwhelming, not very innovative or exciting, especially considering the fact when you've got Lady Gaga as the face of the brand. You kind of expect something a little bit more poppin'. So I was like, eyeshadow palette. Okay, and y'all, this palette is so boring. And I'm like, if any brand had come out with this, I would have been like, why? What is the reasoning for these colors being brought together in this complete yawn fest of a palette? And especially when it's coming from a brand that you're waiting to bring something out exciting and interesting and innovative. You're like, okay, all right, the first thing was kind of, so let's see what's coming up next. And the next thing that comes up, you're like, oh, okay. I just could not. I mean, like I said, when you're waiting for something to come up and you're like, it's gonna be great, it's gonna be amazing, and then this happens and you're like, well, I kind of think this brand is a little bit dead in the water. I kind of think they're ruining themselves before they even start. You know, the color story, I feel like all in all, it is just one big giant Lady Gaga Amazon cash grab. I don't see a lot of innovation and a lot of thought being put into these singular products. The next one is something that I'm not like, oh my stars, I'm not gonna buy it, it sucks, it's lame, it's stupid. It's more just kind of a casual, oh, that came out, so I'm not gonna buy it. But the Kesha Rose Beauty, now I love Kesha. I play some of her songs and it takes me right back to being 17, like we are in a time machine type take back. And so she released her thing. I know there's some lip products, but the main thing is the eyeshadow palette, which, you know, I'm down to try new formulas. Y'all know how I feel about like celebrity makeup. Typically, it is not your girl's thing. It is not my choice of consumerism. You know, so I'm just kind of not interested in trying something new out right now. And if you look at the colors, I feel like the color story is somewhat sort of kind of akin to the Lunar Beauty Moonspell palette. So I've got the colors. 2020 is gonna be your girl's big old low buy, so I ain't gonna be buying stuff just willy-nilly. And this, I feel like I'd get it, I'd review it, and then it would just sit there. So no shade to Kesha, no shade to whatever, it's just absolutely nothing that I need. Okay, now we're gonna start getting into Colourpop, because as I'm scrolling through the trend moods and going, oh, they would not stop. They just kept coming. You'd release one and you're like, well, we've at least got 2 weeks between the, nope, 3 days later, here's another one. Here's a collab with this person. Here's this palette. Here's this collection. Spring, summer, holiday, left and right. There's just not a lot of chill at the Colourpop headquarters right now. They are self-aware. They have become self-aware, so that is something. But the first thing I'm gonna anti-haul is the big second. They did the Kathleen Lights Jaded palette, so whatever. And that was a big palette. And then they've come out with this Bare Necessities palette. And I'm like, I saw that. And I thought to myself, wow, they've become Morphe, because they keep releasing the same thing over and over and over again. And this time, instead of releasing it in a little palette, they're like, well, let's give them everything in a big palette. And this has got a lot, this is Morphe level amount of shades. Y'all know I'm not typically the most neutral person. If I am, I have neutrals in my collection and formulas that I absolutely love. So there's no reason for me to purchase this big, giant, ginormous collection of browns and taupes and eggshells and ecrues. It's just not a thing. And you just look at it and you're like, please, dear Lord, God in heaven, do not have them start making a crap ton of these big palettes. Sweet baby Jesus, keep us from having to have another Morphe brand. Save them from themselves and the imminent consumerism that has taken over this community. Thank you and amen. Okay, Colourpop Coconuts palette. Y'all know I love me them monochromatic palettes. Y'all also know I'm not necessarily the biggest neutral person, as we've discussed. And so this came out and I was like, okay, all right, I understand. This sort of thing is a lot of people's cup of tea. You got the light neutral browns. It's very work friendly. It's very school friendly. It's very user friendly. So I understand why it exists, sort of, kind of, a little bit. But I also understand that it's not nothing I need. I ain't gonna fall into that whole, well, I need all of them. I'm like, well, there's no point in me getting all of them if I ain't gonna wear it. I got crap ton of Colourpop singles, probably already got all them browns and whatever's in bleh. So I absolutely do not need a dedicated coconut palette. Okay, the Colourpop Frozen collection, and I feel very much about the Frozen collection, as I'm sure has been, I don't know if she's talked about it yet, but Abby Williams, who has the whole thing on Disney, who loves intellectual property. Disney loves a good collab. Disney loves using their whatevers to create even more consumerism. So from a marketing standpoint, this whole Frozen to Elsa on a whatever Colourpop thing is a good idea. From a realistic, people gonna buy it, exciting colors, no. You're buying it because it's Anna. You're buying it because it's Elsa and everybody loves Let It Go. You ain't buying it because it's anything exciting. You're buying it because you're a Disney fan, because you're a Frozen fan, because you're a Colourpop fanatic. For people who are well curated within their collections, I feel like these are very redundant. They don't even look that much different from each other. It's just one big, giant, capitalistic push, because that's what Disney does. Disney likes to make money. Disney likes to take their stuff like Pirates of the Caribbean, like Alice in Wonderland, like Frozen, and slap it on some makeup and sell it to another tier of consumers, us makeup people, and they're just sitting there, oh boy, it's gonna be a good one. But I ain't jiving with that. I ain't buying. Frozen was okay. The song Let It Go is amazing, but I ain't buying no Frozen Colourpop collab. Like, I mean, come on, let me just have a minute. You know, like, it's an Anna and it's an Elsa palette, right? And they're neutrals. They're boring, boring, boring neutrals that they slapped into a Disney curated princess Frozen palette. And I'm like, they could have done the Elsa palette, like blues and silvers and even some like maroony whatever tones, because that's what she's got on her eyes. And then for Anna, we could have taken tones from her dress and we could get green and plum and purple and red. But no, we are taking all the bulk shadows we have that we haven't been able to sell, and we're sticking it in a Disney capsule and hoping it'll sell then. A lot of pushing, but not a lot of like intellectual creativity. Then there's the collaboration with Colourpop and Pony's makeup. I think she also just recently, well, not too recently, relatively recently, she did a collab with MAC, which I kind of lusted after. But once again, it's just like this stuff keeps coming out. You're like, collaborate with this person, collaborate with this person, release this collection. This collection has 3 palettes. This collection has 12,000 lipsticks. And not a lot of it looks very different from each other. Like, you look at it, you're like, it's in really pretty red packaging, and you're like, okay, it's kind of pinky based neutrals, but it's nothing that Colourpop hasn't done before, and I feel like it's very a discredit to the people they're collaborating with to just be like, all right, we're going to take something that we normally would have just put out ourselves, we're going to slap your name on it, and we'll be good to go. We are not good to go because there's so much going. And then what was the other? Colourpop, the Good is Gold. Like, oh my, like, so Colourpop. I'm like, the Colourpop palette, Good is Gold, that's like their Christmas whateverness or something. It's just like, okay, all right, let's take a bunch of neutrals that we had already that we're doing with all these palettes, and then let's put a little bit of gold in there and call it Good as Gold. And then we're going to take shades of lipsticks and lippy sticks and other things that we already have. We're going to put them in pretty cute little holiday packaging, hoping those will sell. And we just keep rehashing the same thing over and over and over and over again. And it's just too much. It just feels like it's just so like Colourpop is I feel like Colourpop, I understand they're affordable, and that's kind of the excuse or the justification is like, oh, well, they can release a lot of stuff because, you know, they're affordable. But even if they're affordable and they're releasing something every other week, you know, those affordable prices tend to stack up real quick. And I know there was another Colourpop, there we go, right there. The Colourpop Butterfly collection, I don't even know what this is. It's exclusive to Ulta. It's boring. Second, third verse, same as the first. It's like, okay, it's the exact same thing as all the other ones with maybe slight tonal differences, and maybe we'll put a different kind of shimmer in there, but we're going to put it in pretty butterfly packaging, and we're going to make it an exclusive to Ulta so that people are going to scramble to buy it. When in reality, if you've bought any of the other releases that they've released in the past month, you're good to go. Okay, let's discuss another elephant in the room. I had said on my Twitter, hey guys, I think I might possibly, potentially, maybe review the Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics highlighter whateverness going on. Because y'all know your girl has a thing for highlighter. It's a love affair that will never end. It is the great romance of our time. And so she released highlighters, highlighter palettes, highlighter loose highlighters, finishing powders, and is that it? I don't know, she released a lot of highlighters in a big, gigantic, bulky, horrible, whatever PR package that apparently if you were a smaller influencer and you got PR from her, PR meant one product. If you're gonna send PR, consistency is key, or at least make it transparent that you care less about us smaller people. Anyway, a lot of you said, girl, don't do it, don't give in, don't do it. Now, I ended up not giving in. I bought myself some eyeliner instead. I feel like that was a better thought out investment with my time and my money. And I'm now coming forth to tell you all that I'm just anti-Holland the whole shebang bang. I can't with her. I just can't. She don't care about nobody but herself. She don't care about nothing but her money. She's all like, oh my stars, the powders were milled in Italy, and we went off into the Amazon to get the crystals that we used to make the effervescent sparkles. When in reality, they were made in the US, probably in the same lab as her lipsticks, and kind of had the same whole batch code thing as her lipsticks. And you know, if this had been her first launch, you know, that's all whateverness. But if you're a brand that is being very much magnified and looked at, you'd think that you'd be pretty conscious about dotting your I's and slashing your T's a little bit. Because the first launch didn't go good, you're like, okay, that didn't do well. And it hasn't even been that long since that launch happened that she did this launch. And you're like, okay, let's make everything absolutely perfect, because they are under a microscope, and so you'd want everything to go smoothly. But no, we don't care. We really don't care. Another one that I'm not sure if it personally offends me or just on a certain level offends me, and that is the Tarte and Lele humor comedian Lele Pons. This is definitely also going to be featured in a future makeup no one asked for, because I don't think even the Lele Pons fans would have asked for this, because she isn't known for someone who wears makeup or for someone who advocates for makeup or, you know, markets it. Makeup, the beat, is not really a part of her aesthetic. And to kind of not even be shady, there were a couple reviews on Ulta. It currently has one 1 star, and the reviews are a little bit scathing. The pigmentation is horrible, it's awful, it's, you know, it's one of those like cash grabs. This person has a lot of followers, let's put their face on some makeup and hope it sells to their followers, even though their followers aren't in our demographic. It's like some desperate grasping at a new marketing area. And even that aside, you look at it and you're like, well, kind of with the Colourpop, it looks like a basic neutrally palette that Tarte has constantly always put out. There isn't much difference, much variation. It's kind of all the same thing. So for a myriad of reasons, that is just one of the big, I mean, when it was teased, I was like, what? Like I said, I don't even think her fans were asking for this. I don't think anyone. Tarte was just like, we gotta. They were itching to collaborate with someone, and everyone else was booked up or something. And we're like, okay, let's collaborate with this chick. We have no idea what she does. So on a whole, that was just a one big giant no for me. The makeup that's being released is just kind of asinine at this point. It's just, I mean, there's no point to it. It's just coming down, and we're just standing here like in hopes, waiting for something interesting to break, but all it is just mediocre, the same. We're currently existing in some kind of crazy makeup twilight zone. It's all stupid and very unnecessary. I'm actually gonna call it on this anti-haul. I got a bunch of other stuff, so you are going to be seeing a part 2. So if you see this again, yeah. Obviously, let me know what you think about the products I talked about down below. If you've tried them, you love them, you hate them, what you are anti-hauling. We all have a good time having some nice, very heated discussion concerning new makeup releases, because, you know, when they give us, they can't say anything when they're the ones giving us the content, the material. They're the ones releasing it. They know what they're doing. They have no shame and they don't care, so they should just be ready for it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, and as always, keep it real. Mwah!